Welcome to Therapist Spotlight.
Hello everybody and welcome to Angie's Therapist Spotlight, the podcast where we aim to showcase our wonderful members to the wider community. I'm your host Joshua Brooks, and today we have Cyena Caruana with us. I probably mucked that up, so I'm incredibly apologetic. But Cyena is a naturopath and a homeopath, so this is going to be an excellent conversation. Cyena, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
So, first question, what got you into natural therapies?
Okay, well, I started out when I was about 19, actually studying to be a conservationist. And I did my first year, and then I really realized that I wanted to work on myself on a spiritual level. So I deferred that degree, and I spent about 4 or 5 years in Byron Bay, immersed in spiritual practice. And I completed that phase in my life and decided to move back up to Brisbane. And I wanted to embark on some career, but I didn't feel that I wanted, because I'd undergone so much personal transformation, going back to conservation, while it was still a burning passion, I felt called to something else. And for me, I was drawn to natural medicine, I think, because it was kind of a perfect intersection between the world of nature and healing, healing of mind and body, and spirit too. So yeah, I enrolled in Homeopathy 1 with Australian Institute of Applied Sciences. I just thought, I'll just see how it goes, see if I like it. And from the first class, I was absolutely hooked, because homeopathy really is the art and science of applying the medicinal power of natural substances to stir the spirit, to stir the vitality of the human being, and to bring about healing. So for me, it was like so exciting to see how, it was almost like I realized that, if I could change the natural ecosystem of a person from within, then that would then be a great place to start to change the world, rather than trying to, rally and protest against forces from without, to change the human being from within. So that became my new mission.
Sounds absolutely wonderful. I can very much relate. I was in geophysics as well, so sort of in that conservation thing before I transferred into natural medicine. So again, why then homeopathy and naturopathy? What grips you about those two medicinal disciplines in our natural health? What makes you come alive when you practice those?
I think homeopathy and naturopathy are beautiful. They're very complementary to each other. I started off with the advanced diploma of homeopathy. Then I wanted more, and I went and did the Bachelor of Homeopathy when it was being offered with Endeavour College of Natural Health. And along the journey, my partner at the time, he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2005. And, being faced with the prospect of a chronic disease with someone that you care about, it really just threw me into, like, of course we started off using homeopathy and trying, to apply that. But then as I deepened my studies, I realized that I needed to understand more about pathophysiology in order to be able to tackle chronic disease. And that's what I think over the years kind of made me delve deeper and take on the naturopathy degree, just to get a more solid understanding how the body works, and how I guess I realized that chronic disease comes about because of depletion in the body, and I needed to know all those ways that a body can become depleted in order to be able to restore it to health.
Mm, definitely. And I think that's some of the other sorts of stuff is that like homeopathy is such a beautiful gift, but sometimes I wonder is if you are down that chronic disease path, whether or not that the herbs and that sort of stuff will hit you a little bit harder and a little bit more instantly than homeopathy might be transforming your spirit, which can be a longer process than the immediacy that you may need that herbs sort of fill that gap maybe a little bit more. It's kind of a little bit of something that I've been wondering about. Yeah. What do you?
So what I found is that homeopathy is brilliant for, it really does, it regroups the vital force, and your vital force is, you know, it's so important because if you don't have that, how do I explain this? What I've found is that often with people with chronic disease, there's a point in time where their vital force has become hindered. There's been a trauma, there's been a shock to the system, a fright, you know, some kind of emotional distress. And at that point, it's like, it's the vital force that suffers that blow. And then wherever your physical weakness is, whether it's from genetic predisposition or from undernourished body systems in the past, history of illness, wherever that weakness is, the chronic disease will insidiously find that root, and your weakness will then become your chronic disease pattern. But what I found with homeopathy is that when you take that map of we call it the symptom picture, so it's like how the mind has been affected because of the stress, what physical symptoms have come about since that stress has occurred. There's like this picture, and with homeopathy we match that symptom picture to a remedy that has that exact kind of symptom patterning. And when you give the homeopathic remedy, it can do a couple of things. Firstly, it can diminish the symptoms that are being experienced. So it can dampen those symptoms down and make the symptoms more manageable. Mm-hmm. Secondly, it brings back, it gives the body and the system energy, and it also gives the mental system, like it can undo some of that stress and trauma, and it just seems to like silently kind of remove the blocks to healing. That's what I've found.
Yeah, definitely. And that's been my personal experience with homeopathy and, you know, flower essences and all of those subtle energy medicines. It really has hit my traumas very hard and exposed them, and it was very, very powerful. So I love it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I'm a client and I'm coming to you, what's your process look like when I sit down? Are you a massive, like, would you like me to go to the GP and grab a whole bunch of blood works? Are you more of that traditional naturopath who works on the symptomology and iridology? What's your consultation process look like for most people? What do you like to see?
Yeah, first of all, I give them a very comprehensive health history form to fill out before the consult. So that's basically history from birth. Any, I want to know, whether they've been breastfed, whether they've been vaccinated, any health traumas, anything that they're susceptible to, and also their family history. When people come to me with a chronic disease, often they have been tested or diagnosed. So I ask for copies of those results, test results. If they haven't been tested or diagnosed, then often I will send them to their GP for further testing. If from taking the health history I suspect that there may be deficiencies, I will refer them for testing. So yeah, I definitely like to see the physical tests because that gives us a marker for improvement, and also can sort of confirm or deny, what I suspect is happening. And I like to be clear about those things.
Yeah. And so do you like then to do sort of, like as well as that then, are you much into iridology? Like, do you like fingernail analysis, tongue analysis? Are you a little bit like the Katie Barron, the touch and the physical palpation and that kind of thing? Do you use any of those traditional naturopathic and homeopathic techniques in your diagnosis as well?
I have used iridology in the past. I don't tend to use it at the moment. I tend to go by just more the questioning. So my consult style is kind of a meld between my homeopathic training and my naturopathic training. I like to sort of obviously get all the facts in the naturopathic style, but then if I suspect that, if I question them and it comes about that there was a trauma or a stress, then I'll go into my homeopathic style of questioning, which is much more kind of open-ended, and try and get a sense of when this started, how it impacted them, and and then really honing, like, from a holistic sense, like what that person needs to get back on track, whether it's diet, whether it's whether it's more of an emotional issue that needs kind of some support.
And so then with that, then in terms of your treatment plan for people, how have you found they respond? Because what I find is that homeopathy has quite a little bit of a reputation in the mainstream, which is unfounded, but it does. So have you found that it is sometimes a bit of a hard sell to talk to people about homeopathy? Or do you find that you start more so maybe with your naturopath, your diet and your herbs, and then you can talk them more into the homeopathics as you build that trust? How has that treatment plan worked for you, and how do you sort of fit the two into a patient's overall care when they're with you?
Yeah, fair question. But I find that really, like, the vast majority of my clients already know about homeopathy.
Oh, wonderful.
And if they don't, then they're already, like, inclined to natural medicine. Like, my client is it's the person who preferences natural medicine over the conventional style, and often I'm even having to convince them to go to the GP to get testing, because they're so alternative and they really want natural over conventional. So often, I'm the one arguing with them to sort of, like, I really think it's important for you to get tested. We need to work with your GP. Even, making case for antibiotics, sometimes I have to be the one to put that forward because they're very resistant. So, I don't find it hard to sell people on homeopathy. Often people will come to me and say, I want homeopathy. I don't want anything else. And then it's sort of a matter of, like, yes, okay, I can do that. But, like, at the end of the consultation, it's like, well, if we also, I think you could be well supported if we brought in, this herb or this nutritional supplement, just to kind of build up your foundation for health and get results quicker. So, yeah, that's
awesome. And so then when you are doing sort of the more naturopathic style consult, are you a big like meal planner, or do you prefer to teach people how to eat, or how do you approach the sort of the diet? And then when do you bring in the herbs, and do you prefer nutraceuticals, or do you prefer sort of like herbs and capsules, or are you a liquid herb person? How does that work in your sphere?
Okay, so back to the diet planning. Yes, I'm big on diet. I'm big on workshopping the diet with the client. I'm not the sort of practitioner that sends them away with what to eat. What I'll do is I'll give them a diet diary. They'll fill that out for 7 days and then get it back to me. And then I have a really good look at it myself and think, okay, where are the gaps? What are their preferences for eating? What are their time constraints? What's their lifestyle like? And then I'll send them, like, a list of suggestions that I think they could easily incorporate. Switch this out for that. Try this for lunch. Here's some ideas. Or I'll get them on the phone and say, look, I think you need more protein for lunch. What do you like to eat? And we sort of brainstorm it together. And I like them to sort of agree to, to make certain commitments, just a handful of commitments of like, okay, this is what I'm going to change by the next consult. And I find that to be a really effective way of working with people on diet.
Yeah, wonderful. And how do you, so diet is such a hot topic sometimes, right? So a lot of people have their sort of ideological dietary preferences. And so just for you personally, how do you manage that with a client that comes to you? So say if they're like a hardcore vegan, but you see that they may need a little bit more protein, or they may need a little bit more animal products because their body is sort of craving that. How would you approach that in terms of your practice?
Yeah, I think, like, for example, I've had some people come to me who are pretty keen on the keto diet.
Mm-hmm.
And for them, I feel, from what I know about health, that that's probably not the healthiest route for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try and explain why I think that.
Yeah.
And it's always the client's choice. Like, you can't make them change their diet. But I think if you explain, your reasoning behind it, and what you feel is the healthiest path for them, then they might not take all the recommendations at once, but at least they have more information. And yeah, I guess that's all you can do as a practitioner is tell them what you think is best from your knowledge and experience, and the rest is up to them.
Yeah, that's it. And again, that's all we can do, hey, is educate them and guide them. It's up to them how they step through that door.
Yeah.
And so then with in regards to the questions of herbs, how do you like to prescribe herbs to people? Are you a big liquid tinctures herbs, or do you prefer sort of like more complexes and capsules? Are you a nutrient supplement sort of person? Yeah, how does that look for you, and how you go about?
Yeah, I'm all of that. I love it all. I love liquid herbs, but if people have taste barriers, they really can't handle liquid herbs, then I won't force it on them, or we'll go the capsule route. I think nutraceuticals, I think herbs in capsules are brilliant.
Yep.
And I'm also a big on nutraceuticals as well. I'm not necessarily purist in terms of like, herbal extracts are king or queen, but I think that sometimes if you can't find the right formula that's in a capsule, then I will definitely always opt for the herbal mix, where I can really craft that to what the client needs. Yeah.
And some people aren't as masochistic as us, who love that bit of taste, and you're just like, that's me anyway.
Some people love it as well. Like, I have clients who just love that tonic effect. Like, they love the harshness of the taste. They feel like they're doing something that's like really affecting them. They're very like, what's the word? It's almost like a cathartic kind of feeling of like, I'm doing something, taking the hit. I'm doing this to my health, and they feel really good about it. So I love those people. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm one of those. So, so in terms of other lifestyle factors, do you talk to your clients about like exercise and what they're doing, and sleep and meditation? Because you are, like you said, you did have that big spiritual background. Do you bring that into your clients' consultation and treatment plans at all?
Definitely. I'm big on lifestyle conversations, because I really feel that, my role as practitioner is to help the client to take their health back into their own hands. And, if by the end of our time together, the client feels more informed about, what it is to be healthy for them, and has more motivation, more ideas of what they can do to maintain their health and well-being, then I've done my job. So it's really like, I don't impose what I do for myself, but all the practices that I've done and the things that I've learned about over the years become, you know, ideas in my toolkit that I can say, oh, how about this? Have you tried this? So I'm just going to plug my my charger in for a sec.
No worries.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Here we go. Oh, good.
Oh, technology. It is wonderful.
Yeah.
So then what does that spiritual sort of practices look like for your clients? Are you a big into meditation? Do you talk to them about breath work, about how the power of the breath? What kind of spiritual avenues do you sort of open up to them or talk to them about? And what do you sort of prescribe?
Yeah, definitely breath work, meditation, yoga. It could be anything from like dance to like whatever they are inclined towards is what's good for them, whether it's, you know, getting up and having a walk around the block in the morning. And I think for a lot of people, especially a lot of women, carving out that me time in the day and making a time for that, whether it's just, you know, sitting and having a cup of tea and doing some journaling in the morning or at night before they go to bed. I try to really just find out, you know, what they feel comfortable with, what they're inclined to do. And if they don't know, then I'll try and say, oh, what about this? What about this? And just, yeah.
And being that you come from that conservationist background, are you big into like the sort of the nature connection and getting people out and to experience nature and to connecting with nature? Do you try and talk to your clients about that at all?
Yeah, definitely. I think getting out and about in nature is very important for all of us, because, you know, we've become so reliant on technology and devices to live our day, and reconnecting with nature is such a big benefit for a lot of us in regaining our health and well-being and disconnecting from devices. One of the things that I found, I'm actually getting quite a lot of clients who are bringing their children to me, age between 5 and 10, and you know, children who have anxiety, who have ADHD, behavioural issues at school, difficulty sleeping, getting quite a lot of those clients. And I'm finding that, you know, the technology element is really, really big in those age groups, and just trying to find ways that they can substitute what they're getting from that with, you know, people and nature and real world connections has been a really interesting challenge.
Yeah, definitely. And for me personally, I'm a massive nature connection person. And when you just go out and sit out there and get in the great spirit, God, a great mystery, whatever sort of term you want to, it just changes you phenomenally. I've found anyway, personally.
Definitely.
And so with that, with the children coming through, do you talk to them much about like how to mitigate the effects of technology? So like we know the blue light that comes off can affect your circadian rhythm, and so maybe getting off the devices before bed. Like, do you have many of those conversations coming up quite often at the moment?
Yeah, heaps and heaps, because I know that, you know, no matter, like I can give them, you know, herbs before bed, homeopathics to calm them down. I can give them, you know, B vitamins to help with their concentration, all the supplements in the world. But if we don't fix that fundamental lifestyle issue that keeps perpetuating the problem of like nervous system overstimulation and the drain that causes on their resources, then it's not going to fix the problem. So huge on those conversations. To me, it's like I'm always educating the parents to sort of, you know, look at, okay, yes, I can give these things to help calm things down and help the child to function, but while we're doing that, we need to work on the lifestyle issues that are perpetuating the problem.
Definitely. And it's something that I've been investigating quite thoroughly, is how important it is for that family unit and the community aspect. So sort of like, one of the things that I always find a bit interesting is if you can teach the family unit to maybe not be on their devices at night and actually have a conversation, or to play a board game, or to, you know, do something together, you can actually improves our ability with our natural medicine. It increases the efficacy by 100-fold because of just that connection and that community and that central nervous system de-stressing. It's an amazing, like, yeah, it's an amazing, like, bit of stuff that you can give them that costs nothing. It's free.
That's right. And often it's like, you know, when you bring that to them, it's quite confronting for some parents, because often that screen time for the child is like, that's the time that the parents are on their devices taking care of business, or, you know, working from home, or you know, catching up with their friends after a big day at work. So it's like, oh, okay, so in order for my child to stop, they need me to be present, and to, you know, we have to do something together, which means I have to change my lifestyle as well. And so then it's like, yeah, it becomes a bigger conversation than I think they initially bargained for. But it's all, you know, raising awareness around choices that we make, and in the end, like, they want to be more connected to their child too. So, you know, it's a beautiful thing when they realize that, you know, they're part of the problem, but they can help to create a new solution along with their child.
Yeah, definitely. And it's all, like you said, it's that educating, but also empowering, because then it's like, oh, okay, I may not have even noticed how important it was, and I can just do this and it's a game changer. And so I guess that would be, I'm believing, would be such a impactful statement for some of these parents to hear. It's like, I can actually, you know, increase this efficacy and my child's health by tenfold by just being present.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We're coming up on time, Cyena, but thank you so much for sharing yourself with us. It's been absolutely wonderful. Where can people find you? Where's your clinic? Where can they contact you? And who are you looking for in terms of clientele to bring into your clinic? What sort of people do you specialize in anything? Yeah. What sort of clientele are you looking for?
I don't really specialize in a particular, you know, type of illness, but I seem to attract, like I said, families who preference natural health, natural alternative means of treating their symptoms. I get a lot of clients who I help a lot of families with young children, so babies and young children with homeopathy, because homeopathy can be brilliant for, you know, acute conditions. And you know, I also help a lot of adults who either have, you know, subclinical chronic disease symptoms, or have just been diagnosed, and just helping them to look at their health in a holistic way, and try and, you know, while they might be on medications, or they might have been prescribed medications, trying to find them the way to build their health back up and reduce their reliance on drugs long term, if it's possible, in conjunction with their GP. So, yeah, those are the main clients. And as I said before, see a lot of children aged 5 to 10. At the moment, I'm kind of specialising in premenstrual education for young girls. I'm trying to, you know, I'm doing some workshops, getting them really, you know, engaged in learning about their bodies and feeling empowered, and I guess trying to build up a positive body image before they hit those teen years, so that they can really appreciate, you know, how wonderful our natural systems are, and that they work in a perfect way, and just to honor that and appreciate it, rather than feel like, you know, it's disgusting, or it's, you know, I want women, especially girls coming up, to really appreciate, you know, their bodies, because I think that, you know, nature does have an amazing design, and the more we can feel like akin to that and appreciate that, the more that we will be able to nurture that. And I think there's going to be a better health outcome in the years to come for those people if they can understand that for themselves.
For sure, yeah. Reading Dr. John Gray's book about hormones and how it all works and relationships in regards to your hormones and your menstrual cycle, for me was mind-blowing, because it's just so powerful when you can get back in touch with that natural cycle, and because they all have such an important part to play over your monthly, yearly, lifetime cycle. It's fantastic. So good to hear that you're doing that. So so where can people find you, Cyena? Where can they contact you to get in touch with you for?
Sure. Wonderful. I have a website. It's highervibration.com.au, and also you can follow me on Instagram. It's higher vibration BNE. So I'm active on those platforms, and I have a home clinic in Gaythorne. And I do a lot of consults here, and then also by phone and video call as well under the circumstances of COVID.
And so for everybody out there, Gaythorne's in Brisbane?
Brisbane. It's kind of north side Brisbane, so near Enoggera, Mitchelton.
And so thank you so much for coming on. We just like
Thank you.
It's been absolutely wonderful. And guys, as always, the links will be at the bottom below, so just click on through and have a chat to Cyena. But for everybody else out there, have a great day, and we'll catch you all next time. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Therapist Spotlight. If you would like to know more about ANTA, visit us at www.anta.com.au.